What's up, shifters? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my Volvo V60 Polestar. I am here in beautiful New Jersey on an absolutely bluebird day, and I'm on my way to get a coffee, so I thought it would be a really good opportunity to talk to you guys about the 5 things that I love about this car. It is almost March. It's actually, by the time you're watching this, it's gonna be the first week of March, maybe the second week of March, and that means it's getting oh so much closer to putting summer tires back on this car and getting it to the dyno. So in the meantime, I thought I'd give you a couple of little videos that may interest you of why it's cool and why I love it. So this is my 5 things that I love about this car. So let's just turn the camera around and get right to it, because that's really what you want to see. You don't want to see my face, you want to see the car. So I'm gonna go do that. So if you're new here, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this car or you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up at the end, and also please consider subscribing. It'll help us out in making this. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of March and to get 4,000 watch hours so we can get this channel monetized, so we can make more money and bring you guys more cool content on cars like this. So like I said, this is my 2016 Volvo V60 Polestar, and the number 1 reason why I love this car is because nobody knows what it is. This is such a rare car. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Volvo Polestar sort of story, here is the badge that needs to be known. Polestar. This was basically Volvo's racing division. They brought them in as sort of an M division, and then they turned them into an EV division. So they've held many hats over the last couple of years. You see lots of Volvo V60s on the road, especially if you're in the Northeast here where I live in New Jersey, or in the Pacific Northwest. Those are 2 huge Volvo areas of the country, but not really a lot of people know what that blue badge means. So this is super stealthy. This thing has 345 horsepower and 362 pound-feet of torque from the factory, which is a pretty decent number. You have 0 to 60 in about 4.9 seconds, and it's just a stealthy, quick little car, and nobody knows that. The rarity of these things. This, one of 165 made in 2016 that were brought to the US. So not just black ones or white ones or blue ones or whatever. This is a one of 165 example of the V60 Polestar ever in the 2016 model year with this particular trim. And it's interesting because the 2015 and 2016 are the only ones that have the 6-cylinder engine. So there's, I believe, only about 1,500 of these cars ever made worldwide with the V6, or I'm sorry, with the inline 6 engine for this car. So the rarity of this, these are rarer overall, but from the entire production run of Lamborghini Huracans, of Ferrari 488s. It's insane. This thing is rarer than most supercars, and that's what I love about this. Is my number 1 reason, is because it's rare, it's cool, no one knows what it is, and I absolutely love that. Also, quick little PSA, can we please stop salting the roads? Like, buy winter tires. This is ridiculous. It's just a pile of salt sitting here next to my car on this beautiful, gorgeous pull-off, and that's here. Why? Okay, number 2 reason is just look at it. It's a really, really pretty car, and I just got this thing washed. I know I need it detailed. You can kind of see the paint's a little swirled. Everything is, there's like a lot of, there's a lot of stuff going on with this paint that I need to get corrected, but that's the nice thing about paint. It can be corrected, which is really cool. But this thing otherwise is just a really nice looking car. I love this side profile. I think it's nice. The design work on this thing is really good. All Volvos are pretty much designed, at least all modern Volvos after they became bricks. Ever since the P2 V70R, I think have become this more modern, rounded kind of look. I love the way that this rear quarter panel and rear haunch kind of is how it's designed back here, and is pulled through in a lot of modern Volvos, including the P2 V70R, like I said, and it comes through here. You can kind of see that this like rear haunch kind of like juts out. You have the light that also has that like traditional Volvo shape to it, and the back is sort of like raked all the way back and swept back in a little bit, which is really cool, and it's just a wonderful design. It's a nice looking car, and it doesn't look like a ton of other wagons or hatchbacks or with the S60, the sedans, on the road. I think it's just a pretty car. And it's also just unique. The design here is, again, not like a lot of stuff you find on the road. You have a really cool light matrix that is very different from what you see, with the really nice cool silver surround. The actual headlight itself with a little bit of halo to it. You also have these little lips. These are called winglets, and you could get these on your S60R went back in the day, or V70R, and they've kind of pulled them through here. And there's also a carbon fiber piece you can install here and some side skirts. It's just a nice looking car. I think it's very attractive. And again, it's unique and not looking like a lot of other cars on the road. So I like driving around in this because, you know, it's not another BMW or another Mercedes, and those are pretty cars, but I just think this is cool and more unique. And again, as I've said in other videos, I think this is just a much more interesting car than a bunch of those other cars, and yeah, I think it's just really pretty. Okay, number 3 is inside, and of course I'm going to get to the one thing that you guys really want to kind of see next, but this I have to mention. These seats are probably the best seats I've ever sat in a car, and they look pretty simple. They have, you know, a nice Alcantara insert, they have leather, they have really nice contrast blue stitching to match with the Polestar badge. However, the way these things are bolstered and the way this thing feels, I mean, these seats are, this is a 2016, I'm filming this in 2022. This is an 8-year-old, no, wow, math. This is a 6-year-old car. These seats feel brand new to me, like literally brand new, other than this little bit of, like, you know, leather wear, which is normal. Leather does this, it creases, and as long as you keep it, you know, in good shape with good leather conditioner, it'll last forever, even if it looks like this. And this is so soft and so supple. This is all still like combed out. Like you can see here that you can still have the pile, and it makes sort of that dark and light pattern. When you have stuff that's matted down, like the Alcantara on the steering wheel, it doesn't do that anymore anywhere. So obviously this is very worn out. This is the driver's seat, and it's still not that worn out. The way these things hold you, the way these things are designed, it is unreal, honestly. A lot of people say that the P2 V70R seats are the most comfortable. They're not. These are better. They just are. Those are super comfortable seats. Most Volvo seats are very comfortable. The seats in my XC90, my 2017 XC90, supremely comfortable. These are better. They just are. These things are designed well. They hold up very nicely. The bolstering is still extremely firm for what it should be. These feel like brand new seats other than this wear. They really do. And honestly, this is one of the selling points for this entire car for me. They are so comfortable and so nice that I really, if these weren't in the car, I would have maybe had a hard time picking this, because this is a cool car and all, but this is where you spend all of your time. And if this seat isn't comfortable, then it's just not worth it. So I love the seats in this car, and it kind of carries through in the back, but I have car seats back here, so you can't really see. And yes, don't worry, I have seat savers going on back here, and I've actually taken these car seats out many times, and these seats are perfect underneath. So the inside and interior of this car, specifically the seats, love them, absolutely love them. With coffee obtained, I thought I'd talk about the 4th thing I love about this car, and that is this that you're sort of looking at right now from a very awkward angle because I don't have a real tripod. But this is the engine. This is the SI6 engine, and it's a bit of a unique engine in the fact that it's transversely mounted. It's an inline 6-cylinder engine, and it was made by Ford, but it's not a Ford engine. This was designed and developed by Volvo. So anyone that tells you that this is a Ford engine is sort of right, but is also pretty wrong, because Ford didn't design this engine. Volvo didn't just take an engine from Ford and slap it in here. Basically, they evolved it from the 5-cylinder that the T5 used to be. This is the T6, and basically just was saying, hey, we need a manufacturing partner to help out with the manufacturing process of this engine, and they tapped Ford to do that because they had previous experience with them. Ford used to own them. This car was made after Ford sold Volvo to Geely, the Chinese company that now owns Volvo. So this engine is the number 4 reason, and it's amazing. It's a fantastic engine. And to get to the part that you all sort of want to hear, this engine, of course, is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission, but it also has a 2.5 stainless steel Polestar exhaust from factory. And it sounds pretty epic. Give it a listen. So yeah, this is pretty fantastic, and with a downpipe and a tune, which I will be doing very soon, this thing absolutely comes alive from what everyone on the forums and the Facebook groups tells me. So I cannot wait to give you even more noise with this thing, because it's going to be fantastic and it is going to sound even better, and it's just a great sounding car. Now, caveat to that, the 5 cylinders, the old ones, the P2 V70Rs and the old 5 cylinders, they sound better. This is an amazing sounding car. The engine is fantastic. It's very stout from what I've heard. The 5 cylinders just sound better. You can't really beat the sound of a mini V10, and that's what the 5 cylinders sound like. It's unreal. It's one of the top 5 best sounding cars ever. This, I wouldn't put it in the top 10, maybe even the top 20. It sounds really good, but it's not quite there. So that's the 4th reason. It's just a great engine and a great sounding car. So yeah, this car sounds ridiculous, and the cool thing is, if you give it a little bit of if you feather it in like 2nd and 3rd, even 4th gear, around like 2,000 to 3,000 RPM, you get these little pops out the back. You get like pops and crackles from factory from this car, which is so cool and so awesome. I love the sound of this car. It's so great, and it's a really nice transition from a V70R with that epic 5-cylinder sound to a more modern car. You know, this seems like a really good, you know, evolution of that car. It's a bit smaller, and I'll go through that in the next video, and the 5 things I hate, but it's just a nice evolution of that car. So the 5th and final reason why I love this car is actually because of another car. I used to own a 2014 Subaru WRX hatchback, and it bothered me so badly when Subaru sort of killed the hatchback and didn't bring it back to the US. They still haven't brought it back to the US. It's been a sedan here ever since 2015. The problem is now they have a WRX wagon, and it's not coming to the US. They also have other hatchbacks, you know, the XV Crosstrek or whatever, and they don't make a hatchback or wagon variant of the WRX or STI here in the US. And this essentially is that, but more grown up, because Subaru build quality is like sort of tinny, not great. The build quality in here is fantastic. It's really nice. Nothing rattles. Well, there's like a rattle in the door from too much bass from when I'm, you know, listening to gangster rap or whatever. But it's just a nicer place to be than a Subaru, because, you know, this is essentially a luxury car. Volvo's a luxury car company. They're not at the same level of like a Mercedes or a BMW as far as, you know, luxury materials inside with this particular generation, but they're above, you know, like the high-end Subarus or Hondas, so they're in that like middle ground. And this is essentially a adult's WRX, and I'm going to give all of you a full review of this car on the main Shifting Lanes channel. If you're watching this and you want to watch that, click the card above or look in the description. I will drop links to it when that is live. It should be live in the next week or two. But essentially, this is a adult's WRX wagon, which is awesome. And everyone that says the WRX is just a terrible car is super wrong. It's a great car. If you don't beat on it, if you don't mod the living hell out of it, if you treat it like a normal car, it will return the favor as a fantastic car. And this is the same thing for this. I've had this for a year. I didn't make videos on this for a year because I wanted to give you guys sort of a unique perspective. So many YouTubers just buy cars and figure stuff out on the way. I wanted to stop, do a little bit of strategy with the main Shifting Lanes channel, and then start a second channel with this car sort of as the launch car. And it's done very well. You know, we have over 700 subscribers, probably 800 by the time you're watching this, and almost enough to sort of like get our channel monetized. And I think that that sort of is what I wanted, because I wanted to give you guys the unique perspective of owning a car for a year and not making a video on it, really getting to know the car. And this car really is an updated Subaru WRX wagon, but like a luxury version that the US never got. And that is awesome. You get the all-wheel drive system, you get a safe car, a relatively fun car on any back road. It's a monster in the snow. It is just an all-around great car and has the utility of a wagon. And it's just it's exactly what I wanted Subaru to make. To be 100% honest, if Subaru had a WRX wagon in 2015 or brought the new one to the US last year when they announced that a new one was coming, I probably would have bought that over this because I just really like Subaru as a brand. I like the WRX. They're great cars. I have history with them, and they're phenomenally fun and super great. But I'm really happy I bought this because of the 6-cylinder, because it's fun, and you can take it around turns like this. Oh, and it's just, oh, as everything goes flying, even on winter tires on a back road like this, it's so great to just chuck around and have as a safe, fun wagon that doesn't really exist at this price point in the US. Even the AMG wagons and all the other stuff like that, they're still ruinously expensive. So, you know, this car at 35 grand, which is what I paid for it, which is probably what you'd be paying for a wagon WRX, just the best buy. And I love this car for that reason. It's the wagon that the US sort of really was missing for a long time and now has. And it sucks that the US doesn't like wagons and doesn't really buy them that much because wagons are fantastic, and I'm a huge wagon fan. And this is one of the best wagons ever. Okay, we're back home. We got the car. She's in one piece, of course. But those are the 5 reasons why I love that thing. And I really don't see myself selling it, honestly. It is, I mean, I said that about the V70R, and clearly there's no V70R here anymore, but with the modern features in that, it just being a great sounding car, just being a great car overall, it's safe for my family, my whole family fits in there. I mean, short of someone offering me 50 to 60 grand for that thing and me being able to buy an Audi RS6 or Mercedes E63 AMG wagon, that thing's staying. I love it. It's a fantastic car. And it sounds great, it performs great, it's just a wonderful daily driver. So I hope you enjoyed this video on that. The next video that I'm going to make on that thing is the 5 things I hate about that car, because there really is no such thing as a perfect car. So I'm going to tell you about some 5 things that I do not like. After that, I'm also going to show you a video of what really kind of cool features that thing has that you may have never known before. It's a really interesting video. I'm about halfway done with it already, but there's some interesting things that I want to look up online before I show them to you, and want to make sure that they are accurate before you really see it, because I don't want inaccurate information in a video. With that being said, I also still have the XC90 update video to make for you guys, so stay tuned for that as well. And last but not least, if you love this content, please smash the thumbs up and consider subscribing to this channel, because we have so much more content for you on this channel. We're doing stream highlights on this channel, and we have a live streaming channel. I will link the description down below and toss a card above if you want to go follow us. We do streams every Monday or Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if it gets popular enough, we'll do even more streams throughout the week to bring really cool stuff to you guys and talk to you even more. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Gregson, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!